Hi, my name is Shireen Douglas, and I would like to welcome you to this episode of Power Stories. Now sit back, enjoy, and be prepared to be inspired. Welcome to Power Stories. Power Stories, if you haven't seen one before, is where amazing, beautiful women, and sometimes men, because men have been coming forward as well, to come and share their stories of empowerment, stories of transformation, and stories of how people have overcame challenges in their life that are really inspiring to others. So this is a space for that, really, to be inspired and to share stories of inspiration. So if you don't know me, my name is Shireen Douglas. I am an energy healer. I'm an embodiment and empowerment coach. And most of all, what I consider myself as is a space holder for women, just to allow women to be as they are, in the truth, in the mess, or in the glory as well. So, and I'm also a mum of 3 plus a bonus child. So that's a bit about me. Hayley, would you like to share a bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm a bit excited tonight. So my name's Hayley, and I am a mum of 1. My son's called Marley, and he's 16 years old now, so not as little as he used to be. And I run a hair and beauty wellbeing salon. So as well as doing hair and beauty, we also promote a lot around mental health and well-being. So we do things like meditation, self-confidence workshops, and just anything that I've found has been really beneficial to me on my journey. Now that's what I kind of share in my salon.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. And do you know what? I think you're the only hairdresser that I know that do them to get around mental health.
Really?
Yeah, because I've not heard that before.
I know it's getting a lot bigger now. Like, the more people I'm connecting with, they are starting to pop up all over the place. And for me, it's just more about when people come into the salon. Do you know, I don't know, but when I used to go to salons myself, it used to be a really daunting thing to do. So I find it really important that when clients come through the door, I make them feel really comfortable, because, you know, it's quite a scary thing sometimes, walking into a place where you don't know anyone. So
yeah. No, I think that's beautiful what you offer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just if you haven't watched Power Stories before, how I normally structure the episode, if you like, is I will ask Hayley the same questions that I ask everyone that comes on. We'll then listen to Hayley's power story. And I just want to give you a trigger warning as well. A part of Hayley's story might have elements of childhood abuse in there. So if that's something that you're going to find very triggering, or that it's not something that you can sit with right now, you know, by all means, if you want to jump off when Hayley starts sharing a story, that's fine. Or if you feel yourself triggered throughout the story, please look after yourself, you know, reach out if you need support. I'm here. And there's a range of women in the group as well that can support you. We're all here to support each other, or if you've got professionals as well. So I just wanted to put that out there. So towards the end of Hayley's power stories is when I will check the comment section for any questions or shares, insights that I'll share with Hayley, and Hayley can answer and respond to him then. And then at the end, you'll get to hear about what Hayley's got on offer and things going on. Okay, so Hayley, I ask everyone the same 2 questions when they come on here. I'm going to ask them you. What does power mean to you is the first question.
Power to me? I think it's about obviously empowering myself, and then by empowering myself, you power over other women and inspire other people. And it's like having this kind of, sounds a bit corny, but like this unstoppable confidence. So you've got the ability to kind of inspire and influence other people. So
Absolutely. And that is power. To be able to make impact and inspire and influence other people, that you need power
Yeah.
for that. So absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. So the next question is, when you feel in your power and you're feeling really empowered, how does that feel in your body as a physical sensation?
So I've actually been working on that at the minute, because I do a lot of meditation, and I've been learning about the 3 intelligence centers. So you've got like the heart, the mind, and the gut. And I've been doing a lot of connecting to the gut area recently, because I believe that that's like your power station. So that's the place where you make like assertive decisions. That's where you take action. Obviously, if you've got anything that's going on at the time where you just want to kind of sit with yourself, then you can always tap into your gut intuition. And I think that if you can do that on a regular basis, that puts you in a very powerful position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So then when you feel into your power, you go to your gut.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? So
Yeah.
how does that feel when you go to your gut and you're feeling empowered? Is that like a really, because I know some people have talked about it being, like that really makes it, changes your posture.
Yeah.
Like you stand up strong, you feel taller or expansive,
Yeah.
or is it just like a knowingness? Like when you've, like, does your awareness drop down there? Like how does that
Yeah,
feel?
it's like a deep knowing. And it's just a constant checking in with yourself. And then I don't know, you just kind of feel empowered from that place, really.
Yeah, your power center. No, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now we get on to your power story, which I am so excited to hear, because I don't think I've heard your story yet.
Yeah.
So I know that you're passionate about mental health and well-being. So do you want to tell us, how did this all start? Like, yeah, and what is it? What's the journey been?
Yeah, I'll just try and get it all into 20 minutes or something. So yeah, the reason why I'm so passionate about mental health is probably going back about 5-6 years. I went through like a mental breakdown. It pretty much came out of the blue, if I'm honest. But what happened was, in the space of 1 month, I used to own a salon in Didsbury. So I had a salon, I had a house in Didsbury, like this dream house, and I was in a relationship as well. And in the space of 1 month, I kind of lost my business, had a relationship breakdown, and then I lost my house. So it's like everything just kind of got taken from underneath me. And I was just like, they say a breakdown's a breakthrough, don't they? But it was like everything was gone. And I was 28 years old, and I ended up moving back to my mum's house, because when I was doing hairdressing, I just started to get like really bad panic attacks. And I've been between doing someone's hair, and I just literally pass out, and I just didn't know what was going on or what was wrong with me. So I went back to my mum's, and she started to care and look after me to try and help me to get better. And yeah, it was a long journey. It was probably about 2 years that it took to get back to kind of like full health again. It's like my whole body. I don't know if you've ever been through like severe depression or anxiety, but it was like my entire body just shut down. And I remember like being lay in bed and just physically not being able to lift my body up and then get out of bed. So my mum at the time took my son to school every day. Because I honestly, like, I remember one day, it was my birthday actually, and he came in with a card for me, and he was like saying, "Turn around, mummy, I want to like show you this card." And I remember not even being able to kind of like lift my head off the pillow. That's how much my body had just kind of given up. And it was crazy. But I always remember this quote by Jim Carrey, who says, "Depressed is deep rest." And it's a place where you just, you need rest, because you're kind of tired of putting on these faces for so long and saying, yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, when really things in your life aren't fine. So yeah, I think that's what happened to me, really. And I went right back to having to, like, my mum would come and get me up in the morning, she'd help me to get dressed, she'd have me doing my teeth, because like I was riddled that much of anxiety that I was just constantly shaking. it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And I kept saying to people, like, I don't know what's going on. This isn't me. And I can't work out what's going on. And then went to the doctors. Doctors obviously got me onto kind of antidepressants and things like that. Because the waiting list for counselling was about 9 months at the time. And I know now that it was situational. So really, I just needed to speak to someone and get help, because a lot of things are kind of, you know, been taken away from me. But at the time I got put on these antidepressants, and then they had like a worse effect on me, because I was like, it was like a fighting battle. I was trying to get better, and I was trying to do all these things to get better, but my body was numb and I couldn't feel anything. And obviously to heal, you have to feel. So just spiraled out really. And yeah, it was quite bad. It got to a point where I actually ended up in like a psychiatric ward for probably about 2-3 weeks, just because I was just really, I don't know whether it was the depression or whether it was the the side effects, but I was just having lots of suicidal ideations, and I just couldn't keep myself safe. So I ended up going into this ward for a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I just want to thank you for sharing that, and with so much, just information and detail, because I think it's some of the things you said, a lot of really powerful things, but it's like when you're depressed, you're not being lazy. And I know I've suffered with depression as well before, and you can think that because literally you can't move. You can't move. And I think that's important for people to know. And especially, you seem like a very strong character as well, that, that's used to getting up and doing stuff. And when you kind of been put in that position, it can be so frustrating. And you can think that there is something wrong, this depression, but you think, why am I being lazy? Just get up. And it's like, you cannot.
You can't.
You cannot, despite. So thank you for saying that. And, for anyone that's listening, that's suffering with depression, or know someone, reach out. And we've got a beautiful community in Manchester. There's always people with information, or, people that can support. Don't suffer, because it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff, and I salute you for really working through all that stuff. And and it's so beautiful that your mum was able to support you. Thank you. So with your depression and your anxiety, so you said that you ended up getting section for a couple of weeks. Was there any point that you started to use alternative therapies to manage anxiety and the depression, other than the tablets, if the tablets were having their own problem?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, to be honest, it got to a point where it was a voluntary submission, because obviously my family couldn't keep me safe. So I kind of volunteered and kind of begged with the doctors that I wanted to go into the ward, because it was putting a lot of pressure on my mum and dad as well. Like it was really hard for them, because they didn't know what to do. And that's another thing I want to say, like mental health, from the outside, you look normal, you look like everything's fine, and it's really not. And people don't realize how much it's an actual illness, and the negative thoughts that come in, they're so intrusive and they're so believable, that if you've not got a strong mind, then it's so hard to get out of. And I always think now to myself, like, how was I so lucky to get out of it and other people aren't? And that just breaks my heart, because I think, why did I get out? Do you know what I mean? I just think, why? Like, how did it work for me and stuff? And maybe it's because I am here to kind of help others now, and I'm not too sure, but it's just sad to see. And even being in that psychiatric ward, like seeing people that have been in there. Now I've been out of there for 6 years now, and I still talk to people that are in there and they've never left, and they're on that much medication and stuff, and they just never leave. And you just think, oh my God, like it's not nice. Anyway, what was you asking me now?
About so what were some of the alternative therapies that helped you?
Yeah, so one was obviously when I weaned off them, I kind of felt I started to feel again. So I went to the Women's Centre in Stockport, and they were absolutely incredible. They taught me some EFT tapping techniques, working with like your meridian lines and tapping through like your subconscious, and doing a lot of acceptance work. You know, for example, even though I don't feel good enough, I still love and accept myself. And it was a lot of self-esteem stuff that I worked on. I also did CBT therapy. What else have I had? I've done 28 different therapies I went through, natural holistic therapies. I did a lot of breath work. Breath work was really powerful. It helped me to release a lot of stale emotions and trauma. Counseling. I went away to a Buddhist center for a little bit and did some meditation there. That was really, really powerful. Cambo, did the Cambo. And a lot of it as well was like just retraining the brain. So every morning I would take my son to school, but because we lived with my mum, the drive was like 30 minutes away. So what I started doing was using my car as a learning tool. So I get in my car and I just put anything on, like uplifting affirmations, and me and my son would just say it all the way to school and just kind of get it into the mind. Yeah, that was really good. And just listening to anything like on YouTube. If I was feeling anxious or if I was feeling depressed, I'd put like motivation when feeling this way, and I'd just literally plug it into my ears, and I just started to retrain everything. That was really good. And I'd say exercise, nutrition, so many things.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm so glad that you've had all that to support you.
Yeah.
What's going to say, so how do you use everything that you've learned now to provide a service in your salon? Because I know that you've put on some meditation circles and stuff for women at the back of your salon and stuff like that. So how is what you've been through kind of support what you offer in your salon now?
Yeah, so we do meditation and mindfulness every Saturday morning and Monday mornings, because I always feel like you might have had a stressful week at work and you want to just let go of everything before the weekend, or you wake up on a Monday morning and you need that little bit of added motivation. So yeah, it's really nice. We'll start off with doing some simple breath work, then we'll go into meditation and self-love. A lot of it's kind of based around self-love and confidence. And then at the end, we'll kind of all choose a card, and then we'll just kind of pass it round. And if anyone feels like they need to share anything or get anything off the chest, then we hold space for people. And yeah, it's really good. Really enjoy it. We've just also, in the second lockdown, I created a wellbeing garden outside. So if the weather's nice, we'll go outdoors and we'll sit there and we'll be in nature, and you can hear the birds, and it's just a really beautiful way to meditate.
Oh, no, I remember seeing it on Facebook. It looked really, really nice. Really nice.
It is.
Okay, so I know there was an aspect of your story around your childhood.
Yeah.
Did you want to share it? And at any point, Hayley, I want to just put this out there, because I know sometimes revisiting stuff, sometimes unexpectedly can bring up, some emotions.
Yeah.
At any point, if you don't want to share, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so like I said, when I had my breakdown, I thought it was just based around the situations of what had just recently happened to me. But then when I started to have the counselling, a lot of stuff from my childhood came up. So around the age of 12, 13, I went through like sexual abuse. I was basically raped. And because the way that the person did it at the time, they do it in a very clever way. They do it kind of like where they groom you, and it almost makes you think that as a teenager you've been like promiscuous, or you've been the one that's done something wrong. So it wasn't until I started having the counselling and all this started coming up that actually explaining it to the woman, she was like, no, actually everything that you went through, that wasn't right. And it wasn't your fault. And that was like a massive relief for me, because I'd carried this like shame and guilt for a very long time. So that kind of, it then explained about why, because after that happened to me, obviously I don't know if anyone's ever been through it, but when someone takes something away from you that's so precious, after that I kind of lost all respect for myself. So I lost respect for my body. You know, I'd like be at school and I'd just, well, people clash with us easy, don't they? But it's kind of like you think, oh, well, like I'm no use now. So then I started to date guys that were older than me. I was a lot more older than a lot of people in my year and things like that. And it was just kind of like, it just sent me on a bit of a bad path after that happened. And then I got into kind of 2 quite mentally abusive relationships after that as well. So it just kind of all led on one after the other. And I never actually really told many people about it happening to me. And it wasn't until a year ago, last year, when it's a bit crazy this, but I was on holiday with my son, Marley. And they're very clever kids. They just seem to know. And we were sat there having this meal together, and he turned to me and he said, Mum, he said, like, because he was there when I went through my breakdown and he's seen how I was. And he said, Mum, why was it you had your breakdown? And I was just trying to explain it to him. And then he just come out of it. He said, did something happen to you when you were younger? And because he's older, Marley, I felt like I needed to kind of be honest with him and tell him the truth. So I told him the truth. And he said to me, like, how come you've never done anything about it? How come you've never kind of spoke out about it, or, you know, told the police about it or anything like that? And I said, I don't know, because I know the person's already got kids now. I didn't really want to intervene in their life. Anyway, we ended up, just from what Marley did, and I thought, you know what, if I don't step up and do something about it, then it's going to show to Marley that people can do what they want and, you know, you don't do anything about it. So then I came back from holiday and we did actually kind of like inform the police about it and everything. And, you know, nothing came of it and nothing happened. But it was so nice to sit there, and when they interviewed me, for them to turn around and say that we believe you. Because a lot of people that go through sexual abuse, it's not even about getting them done or getting them locked up or anything like that. It's just knowing that you were not in the wrong and that someone actually believes you. Because so many people report it, but because things are so many years ago, nothing can actually be done about it. But for me, it just did a lot of healing. And then after that, I went into doing a lot of work around forgiveness, because I thought, I don't want to carry this with me anymore. So I did what was it called? IFS, internal family system therapy. And I went back into my childhood and I relived that experience. And I was kind of sat there with the young version of Hayley, like this 12-year-old, and I went and kind of rescued her and told her she was okay. And I took her off to the park, and you know what I mean? I just gave her all that love that she needed and told her that I was there for her. And that was like really, really healing in itself. But now the main thing what I'll say to people now is, if anyone's ever been through anything like that, is that, like, it doesn't define you. Like, it's always going to be a part of your life, because you don't want to push it to one side and say it didn't happen. Like, that is always going to be a part of your life. And there'll always be times in my life where it comes up. And it's, at the moment, like, I've been single for 7 years, but I've just started dating someone, and a lot of it's coming up for me now. So I'm doing a lot of work around it. So it will always come up. But it's about knowing that it doesn't define you, and that you're not a victim, but you're actually a survivor of it. And hopefully that kind of empowers other women as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you know what? Unfortunately, like, a lot of us have been through that. A lot of children go through that, and they shouldn't. And I think, especially being, you know, doing the work that I do, it's like more than you think.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's like what you said there, that not even realizing what has happened. You know, there's a lot of that, because you're a child and you don't know. Sometimes you could have been abused and you don't even realize that you have. And it's so rocky when you get to that realization that, oh my gosh, that's what it was. It can really turn your world upside down. So I really salute the work that you've done, you know, for you and your inner child, because it shouldn't have happened, and it still does happen. But, you know, thank goodness we've got, you know, people like you that are doing the work and sharing the stories and offering support. So thank you so much. I was going to ask you about, like, how's it impacted you moving forward, but you just said that it's bringing up your stuff. So when it's constant intimacy, because It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And what about so has it impacted how you relate to your body?
Definitely. Like, I always see you, obviously I met you at the sexy hip hop class, didn't I? And like, you just ooze confidence, like you really do. And I am still massively battling with that. Like, even looking in the mirror when I've got to dance and all that kind of stuff, and being kind to myself. So I am trying to turn the volume up on my positivity at the minute. And every day I'm listening to affirmations and telling myself, like, you know, all these things. But it's so hard because these self-limiting beliefs just kick in, don't they? And you just, yeah, it's really, I don't know how you've managed. Like, how do you feel about, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, it's, you know what, it has, because I think for me, like, I've had yeah, and I've not really shared this, but I'll share it now because I think it's appropriate. I've had abuse when I was younger.
yeah.
But also I suffer with alopecia. So like, I've had it since being like a young child, and I've gone through bullying, like I'm mostly bald. So that straight away impacts how I relate to myself. So it takes intentional work.
Yeah.
You've got to be intentional, because especially when we've got all these images saying this is beautiful and that is beautiful, and then you've got, you know, there's memes out there taking the mick out of this girl and that girl, and then you've just got all these gorgeous women around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course we have at the hip hop, yeah.
Yeah, it's in beauty, and it's not even about comparison in that way, but when you're not anchored in your own beauty, it can rock you. It can rock you, and especially when you've had stuff happen to you as a child, it becomes confusing, because I know for me, one of the things that I went through is I didn't want to look attractive, and I didn't want to look appealing because it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
So I deliberately, like, I was a tomboy for a long time, because I'm thinking I didn't really want to draw any attention to myself.
Yes.
But then that meant I wasn't feminine and pretty and beautiful, you know,
yeah.
relate to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think when we're doing this work, and especially doing my embodiment work now, what I teach, it's really, yeah, you've got to be intentional and to take your time, and we don't have to lie about, because I'm thinking sometimes, like, I've got to think about my feet. You know, I don't think that the gorgeous sexy feet, but you know what, I can say they're cute, I can say that I like them, I can, you know, where there's no resistance.
Yeah.
Like my stomach, which took me a while because I've got all my stretch marks, I've had my C-sections. I'm not going to stand there and go, oh yeah, I've got a sexy stomach. I don't believe that right now. I'm working towards that. But you know what, I can really appreciate that my stomach has held my babies, you know, and actually I'm like, do you know what, actually it doesn't look that bad, and I can stroke it and rub it and give it love. And that's, for me, that's what it is. It's intentionally connecting with your body until you do love it. Because I think sometimes the worst thing you can do is, because I know affirmations are great, but you know, when you don't believe them,
yeah
I think it causes more problems than, you know, it benefits. So for me, that's how I kind of work on that.
I've been teaching my ladies, like, it's about bridging that gap. So instead of going from, say, maybe like, I love my body, that can be like, I was saying that this morning on a Facebook Live, I was like, yeah, but that's not true, is it? Like, if you don't love your body, you don't love your body. So it can say, I am starting to, you know, care for my body, I am starting to love my body. It can always, just that little bit of like softening and that little bit of belief. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, because then you're more receptive.
Yes.
So it's like, when you're saying it, you just totally shut down. It's just like, it's not doing nothing, it's just landing somewhere over there. But when you're saying, like, okay, I can start to love my body, that's sinking in, and you're more open for it to come in then.
Yeah.
So,
and taking action as well. Like, you know, I'm a massive overthinker, and I overthink things like till I'm blue in the face, but actually taking action. So starting this hip hop class, it was like the most daunting thing in the world. And I thought it'd be dead clicky when I got there. And then I got there, and everyone was so kind and lovely. And taking action and constantly going every week, that actually, the result of that is building self-confidence, isn't it? So instead of keep telling yourself, I am confident, do something that's going to bring confidence. if you know what I mean.
That part, absolutely. I think affirmations and actions together are powerful. And may I say, you do look sexy in class.
Oh, bloody hell. No, he put me next to Alexa, he's dead tall, and I'm like, bloody hell, like, oh god. No, do you know what, I have actually, it's mad that you talked about tummies, because I have got a real, like, I really am trying to work with my stomach at the moment, because the last thing, like, honestly, the last thing I want to have is a tummy tuck, but I have generally been looking into it like all last week, because the more I'm trying to tell my stomach that I love it, it's just like I go to the gym and I do all this stuff, and then it's because before I had my child, like Marley, at 18, 19, I had that stomach that I always like, that I love my stomach. And then having Marley, and I love him to death, but it's like, it has that little flap. I know everybody else has as well, but I don't want that anymore.
I've got the hangover too.
And I think, isn't tummy tuck a form of self-love, or is it not? It's like a constant battle in your brain, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? I think with things like that, I think it's down to personal choice. Like, I don't judge anybody that wants to do, because I'm thinking it's about, if it impacts your mental health and you think like, do you know what, this will make me feel good, and I've tried doing everything else and it doesn't work, then right, do you? Because it's your body, you've got sovereignty over your body. I'm not, like, I know we can say, you know, well, just love ourselves and that's great if you can. Do you know what I mean? Ideally, that's what we want. But if you don't, and that's what you want to do, and we live in a world where we can get that done, then
go for it.
Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, I'm literally, I don't judge, do what works, because I'm thinking we're in a world that we wear makeup, we dress up to look better. Do you know what I mean? Half the time we're going to the gym not to get fit, but to look better, to get a bigger bum, bigger hip. You know, but it's to me, it's an expression. It's up to you. It's like, I know some people have asked me with regards to my alopecia, it's like, oh, why don't you just, you know, wear your head bald? Because there's a community of people with alopecia that do that. That's beautiful and that's great. But if I had hair, I wouldn't shave my head.
Right.
So
yeah.
I like to express myself through wearing wigs because that's how I like to express. So do you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that I love myself any less. I love my bald head. But is it how I want to show up?
No.
So yeah, absolutely. I say do what makes you feel good.
I agree with that as well, because remember when I had my depression, and like I used to always have my friend used to ring me and say, wake up, brush your hair and put a bit of makeup on. And I'd be like, what's the point? And she'd be like, do it. And I'd do it. And honest to God, it really did lift you up for the day. And as well, like the women I work with, so in my salon, I specialize in protein hair extensions. I've done it for like 15 years now. And women come to me and they've either had hair loss or they just naturally haven't got thick hair. And I work with them and I put them in and they're all natural, so they don't cause any like tension or any damage to the hair. It's actually when they come out, the hair's in better condition, so it looks after the hair. And the confidence, like these women are literally like, when I've done it, one of them was like crying her eyes out and she was hugging me. She was like, I can't believe how good I feel. And I thought, wow, like, you know, there is a place for it, isn't there? Like, absolutely. You know, the outer look. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm gonna is there anything else you want to share before I go to the comment sections?
Just probably one last thing I want to say is like I just wanted to tell you about a course I've recently done. I did a course called Conscious Relationships. And for anyone, I mean, I know that relationships is a big conversation with women online and stuff. And you know, when you've been through such kind of even like mentally abusive relationships, like I've been through them, and honest to God, like my confidence after that, I didn't even know who I was. And I just want to say, like, I did this 6-month course on conscious relationships because I wanted to learn how to have a healthy relationship and what healthy relationships actually look like. And by the end of the 6 months, I'd created this amazing relationship with myself, which is mental, in it, because if you love yourself and you put all the work into yourself, then you naturally attract the right person. And yeah, I just wanted to say this course was absolutely unbelievable, and it just showed me that like there are healthy relationships out there, and now I'm definitely going to go forward and have more of a conscious one. So we've all got stuff that we deal with, but it's about kind of when we get triggered by certain things, looking into ourselves and looking at why. instead of projecting it onto somebody else. So I've just been doing a lot of work around that recently, and it's been really, really interesting.
That's amazing. So doing that, is that just all relationships, or is that intimate relationships?
I thought it was going to be intimate, but it actually turned out like the relationship with my son's got better. I've been more understanding around him. You know, like a teenager, and sometimes we'd just be like batting heads with each other, and I couldn't work out why. And it was about me just, you know, softening into it. And even when he was a teenager, and he'd be like, you know, the raging with hormones, aren't they? And they're like, oh, he hate you. And you're like, even though you hate me, I still love you. And like, I don't know, it was just like, it's had an effect on like my relationship with me and my mum, my son, intimate relationships. It's like it works as a ripple effect. So it's been really, really beneficial. Yeah.
Wow. So can I ask, what are some of the practices that have really helped you become more conscious in your relationships, if you can think of any?
Well, at the minute, I did a 2-day deep dive, which was really interesting. We did a lot of kind of conversational hypnosis. That was really powerful. And as well, just kind of sitting, and every morning now I'll sit and I'll say, I am fully responsible for the sensations that pass through my body. So like you're getting familiar and you're getting comfortable with these kind of triggers. So, you know, when this trigger comes up for me, like I get like anxious, say, or anxious attachment, when this comes up, I just allow it to be there. I don't judge it. And I just kind of like feel into it, so that then it kind of stops me from overreacting to things. So say I'm having a conversation with my partner, you know, he might pull something up that triggers me. And normally I would like, you know, get angry and stuff. Whereas now I'll come away from the situation, I'll sit with myself for 10 minutes and I'll calm down my nervous system. And then I'll go and have like a, you know, an adult conversation about it. So that has really helped me to kind of separate that, you know, that these are old patterns, they're not in the here and now, and they're okay to be there, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you've gone from reacting to a really conscious response.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like you go away, you process, and then you come back and you respond, which is great.
And having a voice as well. I think I've done a lot of work around like expressing as well, because I think when you've been through things in the past, you really do lose your voice. So it's about saying, actually, that didn't feel right to me, or, you know, I just want to express how I'm feeling about this. And luckily the guy that I'm seeing at the moment, it's like he knows me so well. Like, it's really weird. We met 6 years ago, kind of once I had my breakdown, I went on a night out and I bumped into him, but we just became friends because of what I was going through at the time. And I'd not seen him for years, but he kept messaging me every day, like saying, are you out of bed? Are you feeling better? You know, just really like helping me and supporting me. And then it wasn't until a couple of months ago I bumped into him in Manchester, and we started to see each other now. But it's like he's known me all this time, and he's seen the worst of me, he's seen the best of me, he's seen when I have my meltdowns, and it's like he's so accepting of it all. And that's absolutely fine. But I also, you know, I want to take full responsibility for myself. I don't want to keep putting it onto him. I don't want him to always have to see all, well, you know, it's right to see all sides of you, but you don't want to keep kind of going through that. So it's about being really healthy for the other person as well. So
that's beautiful. That actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you as well, especially since you're in this space now where, you know, you've got your voice, you're taking responsibility for yourself. And I know from my background, because I would say I'm a recovering people pleaser. Did you have any of that? Because I know a lot of people that have been in a bad relationship or have been abusive have like codependent type behaviors. Did you experience any of that?
Yeah, I think I definitely have done in the past. And I've definitely been one of those people that's like overgiven of myself. And I think as well, when I started to get better, I wanted to like help everybody else, because I wanted to fix everyone else, because I thought nobody else can ever hit rock bottom, because it's the worst place you can ever be in. So I just used to over burn out, because I'd be like, I'd be going around to all my friends and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then I realized, no, Hayley, stop it. Like, you need to fill your own cup first before you can help others. So I've had to bring the focus back on myself again, because I'm a massive people pleaser. Like, I care what other people think. I mean, my next big goal that I've wanted to do for so long is actually get up on stage and inspire people and motivate and, you know, like illuminate. Jake, number of times he rings me and he's like, Hayley, you're going to get up on stage and speak. And I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? But I really want to. We need to share our wisdom, and we can help people and get out of our own way, because at the end of the day, like, what we've got to share can help so many people. So
Absolutely.
You've got to hold me to that goal, Shireen.
I will. I'll be on you now. Right, I'm going to go to the comment section and have a look, see what we've got here. So I know you've been getting love hearts. Was it Sarah said, "Hi bud, look hot." You look hot.
Thanks.
She does.
Brush my hair today.
Rosita's giving you claps and hands up. Thank you for watching. Karen's here. Hello, beautiful ladies. Hello. Hi, Laura, Pauline, Leanne. So has anyone got any questions or any comments, any shares that they would like to ask? I think I'll wait just in case they're typing away. So what I want to do now, I'll go back to the comment section in a minute, is hand this time over to you to do your sacred offerings. So, and you talk about your services, your page, your social media pages, your groups, any projects, charity work that you're doing that you want to share with everyone. Yeah, do that now.
Amazing. Yeah, so if you want to find me, my salon is xenoshaven.co.uk. On Instagram, it is at Xenoshaven, or for my personal page, it's at Xeno, Xeno 1986. You can find me on Facebook as well. But yeah, the biggest thing that we're doing this year is, so because obviously kind of mental health and even suicide is really close to my heart. Last year we started a bereavement service for families. So once a month on a Monday evening, I open up the space in my salon, and families and ladies come together, and it's normally someone that has kind of lost a child or a loved one to suicide. And I just kind of open that space up for them all to kind of share with each other and just have someone that understands. I mean, loss is one thing, but I think loss to suicide is another. So for them to be able to understand where each other comes from. And these ladies, like, they give so much back to me, because I've never met people that are so inspiring and everything they've been through, and they still want to move forward and do more to help others. So what we're doing this year is we're creating a bio at the moment, but we're going to be having, sending out, basically we're doing a big walk up Snowdon on the 17th of September. Everyone's invited. If anyone wants to come along and do the walk with us, you're more than welcome. And we're going to be getting our t-shirts made with pictures on the back of the loved one. And any money that's raised, these ladies have all chosen their different charities that they want the money to go to. So that'll be really, really nice. And before that, I'm going to be doing a wellbeing event at the salon, because we've been open for 5 years now. And any money we raise that night will go towards, I want to get a little bit of like an accommodation for those ladies to be able to stay over at before we start the walk on the Saturday morning. So yeah, that's what we're up to.
Wow. Well, do you know what? Count me in.
Yeah, are you coming? Let's go. Have you seen how high it is, Mount Snowdon? I didn't realise. Very high.
Yeah, I won't think about that before.
You can get a train down if you want.
Yeah. But all that information that Hayley shared, she's going to send to me, and I'll put it in the group. So if you want to connect with her, if you want to go and get your hair done, or go to one of her wellbeing days, then yeah, you can connect with her. So I think, let's see, we've got Karen. We're so proud of you, Hayley, for being so brave and speaking your truth.
Ah, I love Karen. She's the one. She's like my best friend, who literally said to me last week in a cottage, she was like, "You need to start sharing it. You need to start sharing your story." So I was like, right, okay, I will.
No, well, I think that is it. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here today. And so, boldly and courageously sharing your story. I'm in awe, because I'm thinking, I didn't know what to expect. And, you're such a beautiful soul. Just thank you for the work that you are doing. Thank you for looking after yourself. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for just wanting to help others. because sometimes it's a lot looking after ourselves, never mind anybody else. So the fact that you're out here and you're doing what you can for others, thank you so much. And I really mean that.